Guys, I just woke up and it's cold today. I didn't want to get out from under the covers. I didn't want to get from under the covers because it's freezing. But I want to share this thought in my head. I was like looking through my channel and doing like some maintenance, and I noticed that somebody made some comments. And one of the comments that she made was, first I want to say that the comments were giving like judgmental vibes, which is fine because I opened myself up to that. But one of the things she said was that I need to focus on acceptance. And that stood out to me because that's the same thing that my most recent ex said to me in one of our conversations / arguments. He was like, "You need to accept things or whatever," which was a projection, but also a mirror because as we've discussed and as we've come to understand, people that we get into relationships with, that we attract into our lives, are mirrors. They are reflections of us. So if he's saying that I need to work on acceptance, I need to accept things more, my issue is that I don't accept things. His issue is also that he doesn't accept things. And instead of realizing that he'd rather project that onto me, instead of doing the work, which is, on him. But the bigger, larger picture here is that we need to stop talking to people as if understanding what something is and practicing it are the same thing. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. So, what she said and what he said to me suggested that I had no idea what acceptance was and I needed to learn it. That's why we use that vocabulary. When we use those words, they are spells. You need to learn acceptance. That suggests, again, that I've never experienced that. I've never practiced it. I have no idea what acceptance is. All my life, I've gone through it without accepting anything. That's what that's what using those words in that type of way, that's the message it conveys. That's the message it gives. And that's not helpful. That's not healing. That's not supportive. Now, I'm going to show you guys a different way to say the same exact thing that actually is supportive, is loving, is healing. You need to practice acceptance more. It seems you've forgotten what it is to accept. At some point in your life, you knew exactly what acceptance was. You accepted everything. You trusted yourself more. But somewhere along the way, you've lost your way. It's time to start circling back around. It's time to start practicing acceptance more. Because I remember being a child and, being younger and, just a random example, friends would invite me out, right? A friend would invite me to go somewhere. And because I understood that people have all these different types of intentions, God would create a situation to where the universe, whoever we want to give the credit to, would create a situation where I would, like the plans would get canceled or something would happen. My mom would say, "No, I don't want to take you," or, "I can't take you," or something would happen to where I can't make the plans. And I would just accept it. I wouldn't, get mad like, "Oh, why don't you want to take me?" and guilt trip my mom or gaslight her into taking me, or try to find another way to get it done, sneak out of the house, whatever. I just accepted it because I understood, like, okay, maybe that person inviting me, they didn't have good intentions. Maybe that was a place I wasn't supposed to be at. Maybe that, I needed to stay home. And I would accept it and I would just be like, okay, fine, it is what it is. So I have, at some point in my life, practiced acceptance. So it's not that I need to learn it. It's not that we need to learn these things. We know acceptance, we know love, we know trust, we know all these things, right? We know healing. We do it all the time. Our body naturally heals. When we get a cut, our body knows what to do. It sends the capillaries and all these different kind of things to close the wound off so you don't bleed to death. And your body knows what to do when you're wounded. It knows how to heal already. You don't need to learn how to heal. It knows how to accept already. You don't need to learn how to accept. You need to practice these things more, right? So maybe I have gotten to a point in my older age that I've lost sight of accepting things because I have gotten into the space of, okay, instead of accepting how this is going, I've gotten into the space of, goal getting and getting things done and making sure that I'm okay and making sure that my bills are paid and making sure that this is done and that's done and I accomplish things. Like I've gotten into that mode. And it's easy to slip into that mode when you become an adult. When you're a child, you're almost forced to accept things. And so it's easier to be accepting when you're a child. When you become an adult, it's all on you. It's your responsibility. Now you have to learn the other side of acceptance, which is, what would be the opposite of acceptance? Resistance, persistence. I like persistence better. There are times when we need to be persistent. There are times when we need to accept. Balance, guys. That's what all of this is about. It's about balance. When we're children, we learn the passive, the feminine way of doing things. That's the feminine side. Acceptance, love, trust, all of these things, right? And then when we become adults, we learn the masculine way of things. Persistence. What's the opposite? Logic. All these other things, right? All of it is necessary. Again, we have to learn when, how, when it's necessary to flow between the two extremes. So when somebody comes into your life and they say, you need to learn acceptance, your heart is closed. That's another thing that people were saying to me. My heart was closed. You need to learn how to love. Your heart needs to be more open. Okay, but they were saying it as if I had no clue what it was to love. No, I just have lost sight of it. But then also they would be like, you're balanced. Okay, so if I'm balanced, then wouldn't the automatic, logical next thought be, okay, so if she's not opening up her heart to me in particular, if I'm not seeing that love from her, then there's a reason for that, I would assume, right? But anyway, there's another example I want to give before I get off here. So yesterday I was talking to a friend on the phone, and we were talking about how it would be nice to get into a relationship with somebody who you've built like a friendship, like a deep friendship with. No sex, no extra stuff, just a friendship, right? And then it eventually blossoms into something that does involve a sexual relationship. And he was saying how beautiful that would be and like how his friend did that or whatever. And he kind of made the analogy to like when we're kids and how how we court each other and how, we take our time and we put all this effort into, getting the other person to just be our girlfriend or just be our boyfriend. Like, and I was telling him, like, yeah, that's beautiful, but as children, it's not an intentional thing. We're forced to go about relationships in that way because we're still kids. Our parents have stipulations on us, like, we have to be home at a certain time and they're watching every move that we make, and we can't make a decision to say, hey, come over to my house and let's do X, Y, and Z. Like, there are so many things that are forcing us to be slow, to take it slow. We're also virgins. Most of us anyway, we don't have any idea about any of these, about sex or anything like that. So there's no like rush, there's no temptation, there's no like, you know, let's just get to this thing kind of thing. Like we're forced to move slow. We're forced to move in a certain manner. And that's on purpose. That's to teach us that part of it. Then when we become adults, we learn the other side. We learn how to move fast. We learn how to just jump into a relationship, because now we might have an apartment that we could go to and do things that, we probably weren't able to do when we were kids. Well, now we've probably experienced sex already, so that nervousness or that shyness about it being the first time is now gone. So there's all these factors that come about when you become an adult that don't encourage you to move slow at all. It actually encourages you to do the opposite. And then, like with everything else, we learn balance. We come back around to an understanding of, okay, the way we did it as kids is the correct way, but also this is why it's the correct way. This is why I'm choosing to do it in this particular manner, because now I have an understanding. Now I have a perspective. Before, when we were kids, we did it not understanding that it was the right way. We just did it because we had to. Then we become adults and we do things a certain way because we think we're grown, and we think, this is what I want to do and whatever. And then we circle back around. Then we realize, okay, the way I wanted to do it wasn't working either. So let me try this. Let me try how I used to do it as a kid. But now I'm doing it intentionally because I realized the way I want to do it is not working. The way they told me to do it might be the way, but I'm choosing that way now, and it's not being forced onto me. And that's a different kind of experience. So, yeah, the title of this video is acceptance is not the same thing as shit, what was gonna be the title? Anyway, it'll come back to me and then I'll title the video and post it. I hope you guys have a nice rest of your day whenever you're watching this. And until next time, be well.